What's up guys, Bones88 here, and we are doing another Awaken Chaos Era video. But today, we're gonna do it, we're gonna get it out of the way. We're gonna go over every single elite character in the game. There is way more good elites than anyone's given anyone credit for, and I'm gonna show you who I'm talking about today. So we have a lot of stuff to go over, so we're gonna get straight to it. I'm not going to get deep into their kits. I'm just going to kind of give you an overall summary of what they do and if you should use them. Alright, so we're going to start with the Holy Light Empire. And right from the very get-go, one of the best elites in the entire game, and maybe even one of the best characters in the game, Connor. So Connor is like an attack healer kind of thing. His kit might not blow you out of the water, it might not blow your mind, but he really performs on paper, right? So you want to gear him for attack, because these moves, like he's granting a team-wide shield and then giving attack up, and it's based on his attack, right? So you want to gear him for attack, so this move's more potent. And then you have this, where he heals all team members, and that scales with his attack, right? Well, an attack healer is pretty awesome. I'm down for that. So he can do so many things. You can get him almost as soon as you start the game, as long as you pull him, or you can... There's many ways you can get Connor, right? And if you need a healer, take him up instantly. So Charles, this guy's not bad. He's not amazing, but he's still somebody that if you might need an attacker or something like that, I think he can fill your role, right? I think there's a lot better options out there, but this guy isn't bad. That's the thing. You can still use him. He ignores defense, he applies taunt, and he uses that rage mechanic to do more damage. And you need to get his defense as high as possible, because he deals 100% damage to an enemy and grants a shield for 2 turns with strength that scales based on this character's defense. So you want his defense to be as high as possible for that move. But he's still decent, not bad. And once again, there's many more attackers that are better than this guy. But if you just need one bad, this guy will do the job just fine. Good old Dovlov. Or Dulov. This guy's not very good. That's all I really can say about him. Don't even waste your time on this guy. He is food all the way. Okay, so Celine, she is pretty good. I took her to level 25. She's a starter character. I used her for a long time until I got my rookie summons and pulled some better characters. But I used her all the way up to about stage 4 or 5 of the campaigns, and she did work at level 25. Now I haven't took her past that, but I feel like if I took her to 40, she would be doing pretty damn good actually. This ability here, she deals 120% damage to an enemy using an attack that bounces between enemies 2 times. Damage decreases with each bounce. This attack has a 30% chance to apply frozen to the target for 1 turn. That's a pretty great move. It looks really good out when you're actually doing it. This also deals 120% damage to all enemies, and the damage scales with the number of enemies. This move is pretty good too. So she puts out more damage than you think, and she does several AoEs. She's pretty good actually for an elite. And I mean, she's also getting attack up and putting on shields, so she's really decent actually. And for a starter character, I think you can go quite a ways. If you don't want to waste a lot of resources on people until you start pulling a lot of good people, she's definitely a good character to keep around. So my man Vidar, besides looking absolutely badass, he's pretty good for 2 reasons, and it's these moves here. He grants defense up 2 and dodge up for 3 turns. 3 turns is a long time to have dodge up. Dodge up is a very underrated stat in this game. You don't see it very often, and there's a reason, because it can become broken. Dodge up is huge. If you see dodge up in a kit, pay attention, because they're probably pretty good. And that's for 3 turns. So he's tanky and he's being missed because of dodge up. That right there is pretty good. And in this ability here, he deals 260% damage. 260% damage in this game is also quite a bit, because usually you're only seeing people do 80%, stuff like that. So if you see a large number like that, look out also. He's dealing 260 damage to an enemy and causes this character and the enemy, so both of them, you and the enemy, are taunting each other for 3 turns. So that's pretty big because he has dodge up, defense up, build him as a tank. He's putting taunt on other people as well as taunting at the same time. That's huge. This guy is awesome. I have a lot of building up elites to do, and I think I'm going to start working on some more elites. And this guy's going to be one of the first. He's one of my favorite elites. He's really cool, and I suggest you build him if you need a really good tank, which I need. So I might try this guy out and put some work into him. But if you need a tank, this is the guy to go for as an elite. Okay, so Abbott. I feel like everyone gets an Abbott some way or another straight from the get-go. If you need a healer, which there's a lot of healers out there, so there's probably someone better than Abbott, right? But he is still a beast. He's still good. He's still great. And if you need a healer and you just haven't had luck pulling a good healer, go... I would suggest Connor first, right? But Abbott is just as good. He is pure healer. And I want to do this really quick because he has a lot of healing. He'll deal some damage to the enemy, and then whichever member has the lowest percentage of health remaining, he heals that character. And it scales with the max health. This heals a team member based on the amount of this character's max health. And he also applies immune. And this one's big. Heals a team member and grants a shield with strength equal to 50% of their lost health for 3 turns. Healing scales based on this character's max health. So he's healing, putting protection on, and when every move you can heal in some way, that's huge. And he's a great elite. Definitely a great healer. Once again, I would go Connor before him, but if you don't have Connor, or you just want to do some different things, he's just as good. So Barak. Barak is not that good. He has several caveats that are unlikely to happen, and he just kind of reminds me of the Robin Bad of Awaken Chaos Era, right? So I'm not going to get into his kit. Just know that he's trash. I wouldn't even worry about him at all unless you're feeding him his food. Alright, so moving on to the Crisis. We have 1 elite, which this will be easy then, right? So I'm a little on Tazago. He has some good things in his kit, but I've never used him. I don't know how he is on, in the real world actually fighting. He has stuff like this here, where when you can stun somebody, that's pretty huge. He wouldn't be good against a dungeon boss or anything. He might be okay on campaigns. Maybe on like a niche campaign or something that you need, but I don't think he does too much. Here he does 150% damage and applies stun. That's okay, but there's characters that apply stun without using your ultimate, right? That's kind of selfish, so he's just not that great, really. This is interesting. He has a 50% chance of reducing damage taken by 30% upon taking a valid hit. It just seems a little many caveats there and low percentages. So I'm not a fan of him, really. I think you should probably food him. Alright, moving on to Lasir. Alright, Marion. She is pretty cool, actually. Just look at how she looks. She looks like a badass. I love the way she looks. I used her on the closed beta, and she was good on there. I don't know if they changed anything or not, but she's cool. Right here, right from the get-go, the lifesteal of all team members is increased by 15%. Everybody. So she's kind of like a Zera or something. She's bringing up all the lifesteal, and I feel like lifesteal is also an underrated stat. Every time you're attacking or whatever the case is in this game, they're losing health and you're healing it back. So lifesteal is huge. She applies defensive down. This move is interesting. I don't know what all you could do with it, but something tells me there's some theory crafting awesomeness in this move right here. And what she does is she protects an ally for 2 turns, which is like shield or whatever. Extra stuff on top of health. During which any damage or healing received by the protected ally is delayed until the end of their turn. Damage taken is reduced to 50% of the total while healing, and lifesteal effects are boosted by 150%. That's crazy. I have to theory craft this and mess around with her, and after doing this video I've realized I'm going to start focusing on elites more than I am on legendaries and epics. There's something to this. I can't tell you right now because I haven't used her. There's something to this that's going to do something awesome in a dungeon or something, and I don't know. I don't know, but any of my content creator buddies out there, or anyone who's watching this that likes to theorycraft, check this out. Really look into this, and let's build her up for the fun of it, and let's see what we can do with her. There's something there, I'm telling you. And then this isn't amazing, but it's really helpful. She deals 150% damage to an enemy, and then heals the team member with the lowest health for 100% of the damage dealt. Once again, nothing amazing, but that's still just adding on to an already cool character, doing something even better. So Marion, I think she might be one of the best elites. I can't wait to get her going, get her to 5-star, and see what she can really do. So Evelyn, I believe she's one of the starter characters, right? And her and Celine are, I think, in my opinion, Celine's better. Some people went the other way and went with Evelyn, but I don't think she's very good, to be honest. She does like a lot of single target stuff, and her kit's just kind of underwhelming. So I would recommend fooding her whenever you want. So Freya, she is another character that I'm kind of like, I think there's some potential there. I really do. So right from the get-go, any valid hit that she does has a 50% chance to apply defensive down. So anytime she's doing damage, she has a 50% chance to put defensive down. That's pretty cool right in its own. So this one, she can put speed down. That's cool. I mean, I don't take speed down as that great anymore because it's not the same as other hero collectors. Speed doesn't matter that much. It just messes up your turn order, right? This, though, deals 120% damage to an enemy and launches a joint attack with a random ally. That means she's bringing in assists. There's a dungeon that's going to need people to assist a lot. She might be someone that's going to help in the future. This one is cool, though. You don't see this very often on too many characters. Deals 200% damage to an enemy and applies unhealable and no positive effects for 2 turns. So you're pretty much keeping whatever person you go for will not be able to get any buffs on them for 2 turns. Alright, so Anna. Anna's kind of interesting to me. She's obviously an attack character, and her kit kind of doesn't sound awesome, but actually she might be able to do quite a bit of damage. If you see here, she attacks bonus damage equal to 5% of this character's max health. So the higher her health is, the more damage she'll be able to do overall. And then like this, she can apply stun, but it's only a 20% chance. But then like this, it starts getting interesting, right? She can deal 100% damage, and then she applies speed down and attack down. And it gets more interesting where it's like deals 200% damage, which seems quite a bit. And the higher her health is, she'll be doing even more damage. With a 75% chance she can apply taunt for 2 turns. She grants this character invincible for 1 turn. Invincible, I haven't seen much either. That's getting me to think clan boss, unkillable kind of comp maybe, if you get a couple of these going, right? That's another theorycraft thing you got to come up with, because also it has a 4-turn cooldown, right? You get to level 5, it's a 2-turn cooldown. It's not as many turns, but it's really giving me a vibe of unkillable clan boss team. So I think there's once again some really good theorycraft potential in her. She doesn't stand out a lot, but when you start looking at these last couple moves, you're like, wow, okay, she might be pretty damn good. Alright, moving on to the Soul Plunders. My girl Raven. So Raven is awesome. She looks really cool. Her kit's very unique. She's a stealth-based poisoner, and she's just really cool. I have to kind of go through her kit real quick. So in stealth mode, her attacks ignore defense. That's awesome, guys. Ignoring defense is huge. And then, so this move deals damage with an 80% chance to apply poison for 3 turns. Once again, 3 turns is a long time. It also reduces the cooldown when you use that of this move by 1. And it deals 100% damage to an enemy and grants stealth to this character. You want to be stealthed, you want to keep applying poison, you want to pair her with someone who applies debuffs a lot because of this move. Deals 120% damage to an enemy plus 50% bonus damage for every negative effect on the enemy. So that 50% can stack up depending how many negative effects you have on someone. You get, once again, you partner with her with somebody I have in mind too, you'll see here in a minute, throwing debuffs out everywhere. She's going to be putting out a lot of damage, guys. A lot of damage. But you want her to be in stealth so that she's ignoring defense, right? And then you pull this move off when they have a bunch of defense, she might be wiping people out, guys. So Raven, once again, one of my favorites, definitely underrated, and keep a lookout for her. And keep in mind, maybe building her up to put out situational crazy damage. I think she's someone you want to manual, right, whenever you're playing, but still a possibly insane character. Alright, next up we have Agzul. Once again, this guy is pretty crazy. I need to go over the kit so you understand why I think he's pretty crazy. If you need a really good poisoner, this guy is nuts. I can see him kind of being a clan boss character too. So let's get into it. So his passive applies poison to all enemies for 2 turns upon the death of an enemy. So maybe not that great for clan boss, but it gets better. This ability may be triggered up to 1 time per round. He deals 100% damage to an enemy with a 50% chance to apply poison for 2 turns. Heals this character for 20% of the damage dealt. Deals damage to an enemy plus 1% damage per 1% health lost by the target. That's pretty cool too. So the more health that's been lost by the target, the more damage he's doing. And this one's pretty good. Deals 150% damage to all enemies and applies poison for 3 turns guaranteed, right? So he has many chances to apply poison. He has guaranteed moves that put poison, and then he's doing more damage the lower the health is. This guy is definitely underrated. I definitely recommend going for him, and I think he'll be more of a niche character because poisoners don't seem to be really needed. But we're going to find a point where, oh, the strategy of beating this dungeon or this or that, we need poisoners, right? Well, he is just as good, and I think he'll be very useful somewhere. All right, Hullins. I like Hullins. He's one of my favorite elites. This is who I'm thinking about pairing with Raven, right? To put out a lot of damage. Once again, he's so good, you have to go through this kit to kind of see what's going on. So his passive. Attacks have a 50% chance to apply no positive effects to the target for 1 turn. Every time this guy attacks, he has a chance to apply no positive effects. I feel like this is one of the biggest debuffs in the game. They will not be able to gain any buffs every time he attacks. I'm not saying it's going to be guaranteed, but he has a chance to apply that. That's huge in its own. This one, he is dealing damage to an enemy, and he has an 80% chance to apply unhealable. So he's dealing... So he has a chance to put no positive effects, and now he casts unhealable on people. And that's just his basic move. So that's a pretty cool basic. And then, on this move, he's dealing damage and putting poison on. So lots of debuffs. This guy's good, man. This guy's really good. He deals 150% damage to an enemy and duplicates all negative effects affecting them onto a random enemy. That is awesome. That is the perfect pair with Raven. This guy is also very underrated. Okay, so last we have Valak. He's trash. He's trying to be a poisoner, but there's several caveats with low percentages of getting it, and he is a poison-based character, but he's not good at his job. And I just went over several good poisoners that are much, much better than what Valak is. He's trash. Feed him up. Alright, moving on to the Sylvan Woodlands. So Cece is an interesting character. She's kind of a healer, and she has this one move that's like the ultimate that's very interesting. I just don't think it's enough to save her. So she possesses an ally, granting plus 50% attack or a bonus turn to Cece once ended. Cece performs a joint attack with the host, dealing 50% damage. If the host is attacked or cast to an ally, grants healing to the target equal to 50% of Cece's attack. Healing scales with Cece's attack. So that sounds crazy, right? And just watching it happen would probably be awesome. But other than that, I don't think she's useful. I don't think she's that great. I think she's trash. But such an interesting ultimate. It's sad that it's wasted on kind of a crappy character. So Rodira, she's just a typical run-of-the-mill, like average to below average character. She does some healing, she does some good things in her kit, but she does nothing amazing. She's no one that you need to really go for, and I think I think she has a better use as food than actually using her. All right, Kaluk. This is Valuk's cousin from another mother. He's interesting. I don't know what to think about him. So every time he attacks, no matter what, he has a 50% chance of removing one positive effect from the target. One isn't amazing, but at the same time, you're removing him. Every time you attack, you have a chance, right? He's doing damage that scales with his speed. So for once, this is a character that I've seen where you want as much speed as you can get on him, no matter what the turn order is, so that he's doing more damage. But besides that, nothing else really sticks out for me. So, I would still say he's a below average character, and I will probably end up feeding him whenever I get him. Next up, Titan Icelands. And we have only one elite, so this will be easy. Mulago. And I get this guy all the time. There's another guy that looks just like this that we already went over, and I pull them all the time, constantly. But yet they're not that great, really. But Mulago's very interesting. If you got somebody that you paired with him that does the frozen debuffs and stuff, I actually think he'd be decent. Once again, you kind of have to see his kit real quick. He has 50% chance to counterattack with speed down. Okay. He deals damage and has a 50% chance to apply speed down. Okay. So if you need someone to apply speed down, this is the guy to do it. Allies attacks against enemies affected by frozen have a 100% chance of triggering a joint attack by this character. So he's assisting, right? Assists are always a good thing. He's putting speed down everywhere. And this one's pretty interesting too. Deals 150% damage to all enemies with a 30% chance to apply frozen for one turn. The chance to trigger increased to 60% if the enemy is affected by speed down, which will most likely be because he's putting speed down everywhere. So once again, I don't know if he's amazing, but he definitely has a niche kit where I bet you he's going to be good in a dungeon or some place where if you have Mulago, he's going to stand out. I guarantee you. Heading on down to the free cities. So, Elson. Elson is the son of Zachary. If you don't believe it, go check out his bio. This guy has some growing up to do. Let's just say that. He is nowhere near his dad. He's not even close. And I think he's a below average character. And I think it's okay to feed him his food. Which is sad though. It'd be cool if it was like a Goku Gohan situation where his son was almost just as badass as him. But that's not really the case. But speak of the devil, my mother trucking dude, Zachary. This dude is given to you almost right from the get-go. And to me, he could possibly be one of the best characters in the game. If not, at least one of the best attackers in the entire game. This guy is legendary status, guys. If there's one guy I could tell you to take to level 50, at least, maybe even 60 right from the get-go, it is Zachary. This guy is such a beast. His kit's amazing. He does crazy damage, and I can't go on enough about this. But most people already know this because if someone says, who should I work on first, 99% of the time, people are going to say Zachary. You cannot go wrong. I suggest taking this man over any legendary or anything else to at least 50. Because the thing about elites is, leveling up elites, maxing out an elite in every aspect, from ascension to abilities, just everything, it's so much easier for an elite. You start getting up to legendaries, it's almost impossible to farm everything you need to max those characters out. This is the man you need. He's going to carry you through a lot of stuff in the game, especially right from the get-go. Great Jonathan Joseph. Joseph here is almost purely support. He's not going to do anything amazing, but he is a great character. He is fast. He can make people go faster if you're an attacker, and he's just a really good support. Let me kind of show you what he does. So he gets speed plus 10%, so he's faster. He deals damage to an enemy and grants speed up to the ally with highest attack. So your attacker is going to be going faster because he's putting speed up on this move here. He removes all negative effects from a target, and if you do that, it also grants a bonus turn. That's a huge one. That's a really, really good move. And then he's applying attack up and defense up to all members for 3 turns. Once again, 3 turns, defense and attack up. That's really, really good, guys. If you need someone who's pure support, Joseph is the way to go. Because it's hard to pull the characters you need, right, that are epic or legendary. So you might go months and months without someone that you need like Joseph. This guy is amazing, and I recommend going for him early on. Okay, I think this guy's kind of trash, but when I start looking at these last abilities here, I kind of think if you pair somebody who puts out bleeding, he'll come in and deal the damage even more on top of the bleeders. But what he does is, this one he launches 3 strikes, dealing 150% damage. Each strike has a 50% chance to apply bleeding, right? But if there's already someone putting bleeding out, you use this move, deals 200%. That's quite a bit of damage to an enemy that scales with the number of bleedings affecting the target. So you have another person paired with him putting out bleeding, then you have him putting out his bleedings. When it's time for him to do his ultimate, I think he can start wiping some people out, actually. He's kind of a Raven, but Raven has her poisons. I think he's like the bleeding version of Raven. So he's someone that you just kind of have to take a chance on and try him out. I don't have him built up, so I can't tell you, but the theory crafting ideas is that pair him with a Hector or somebody, and he might go crazy on a team. Alright, next up we have Mary. This girl is cool. She cleanses, and she passively cleanses. And look at her passive here. Every 3 turns, okay? Every 3 turns, she removes a negative effect from all team members at the start of a turn. Now, I would like it if it was like maybe 2 turns. 3 turns a little much, but that's still pretty decent for being a passive. This one, she deals damage and has a 30% chance to apply stun. So this girl's reminding me kind of like Little Baddie in Dragon Champions. Grants a bonus turn to a team member at the end of the round, as well as damage up and immune. That's good. Bonus turn's huge, damage up is huge, and immune you can't complain about. And lastly, she's removing 1 negative effect from all team members and grants 1 invincible to all team members for 2 turns. Once again, I'm thinking unkillable clan boss. This girl is really good. Invincible is removed upon taking a valid hit. You know, it goes away once she's getting hit, but there's something there, guys. There's something there. There is unkillable potential in this game, and she's someone that's waving her hand at me like, hey, pick me. I can do the job. Mary looks amazing. She will be one of the people I take up as an elite rather soon, so that I can try some things out with the clan boss in this game. And lastly, guys, Dragon Scale Marsh. So Tazago has some good things going, right? I just think once again that there's characters that can do what he does, but better and more consistently, and so that makes him more of food. Not saying he's even that terrible, but I would use him as food. So we got Rogue, or Rogue, or Rage. I like Rage, what do you say? Rogue? I don't know, Rogi? It could be anything. I know you guys can't see his name, I'm sorry, I'm blocking it. This guy is the cutest thing in the game. I love this guy. I'm so sad because he sucks. He's terrible. One of the coolest guys in the game. It's like somebody I would want to chill with. My little homie. But Rogue, he's terrible. His kit is attack based, but it's not doing much damage, and he's just not good. I think it's probably best for him to roll up in his shell and just go back underground. You know, go back to the ocean. He also reminds me of Salvador from Dragon Champions. I would use this guy as food. So Rourke is super cool looking. This faction is pretty badass, but they suck overall. So this guy's just doing some random stuff. He's doing some bleeding. He's doing some defensive up. But there's so many more characters who do what he does better. I definitely don't recommend working on him, putting anything into him. Just feed him on up. Okay, last, but most certainly not least, Mudos. I haven't heard anyone talk about this guy, but if you gear this guy strictly for attack, this guy's gonna demolish folks. Let me show you his kit. His passive, plus 15 lifesteal, plus an additional 100% lifesteal, under 50% health. So he's not going to get any of his bonuses until he's halfway down. But once you get him beaten down, this guy's the Patrick Mahomes of attack. You get him underneath plus 50%, he's going to F you up. He deals 100% damage to an enemy and has a 30% chance to apply bleeding for 2 turns. That's, you know, that's just an extra little bonus. That's nothing great. But this one deals 120% damage to an enemy plus 100% bonus damage if under 50% health. Expends 30% health. I don't know if he loses health on that. I'm not sure. If that's the case, that's kind of a big deal breaker. Look at this one. Grants attack up for 2 turns. Deals 200% damage to an enemy. Damage scales with the amount of health lost by this character. This dude will go on insane on some people. I'm thinking maybe a clan boss type attack character, but you want him to be under 50% health, right? Or is useless. So that's where it kind of evens out. There's got to be some niche team where he's going to excel. Is he amazing? No, he's not. But you get him under 50% health, which it's hard. Like, how can you keep him around there, right? That's going to be the problem with him. But if you can control him and keep him under 50% health, but keep him alive, dude, this dude's going to be going nuts on people. He's going to be one-shotting people. So I definitely recommend keeping a hold of Mudos when you have the time to do some luxury leveling up on characters. He's definitely someone you should think of when it comes to that point. Okay guys, that is my review on all elite characters in Awaken Chaos Era. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. After making this video, I actually learned a lot about these elites. I learned that there's only a handful of elites that aren't useful at all, right? Only a handful, think about that. There are so many characters that can fill a spot for you in your team if there's a weakness. If you need a healer, if you need a debuffer, if you need a buffer, you know, a stealth person, if you need there's something for everything in these elites. That's amazing. In Raid, that's not the case. There's probably a handful of rares or elites that are helpful in that game, right? That's the opposite here. My mind is blown away by how good the elites are in this game. So if you hear people saying, only go for Connor, only go for Joseph and Zachary, those aren't the only 3 that are good. These guys are amazing. And I can't wait. I'm not going to wait around and summon a legendary. I am now going to start spending some resources on some of these elite characters. They'll go to max faster, and I suggest you do the same. If you're a whale, don't even watch my videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter to you, right? And I'm not saying if you're a whale, don't watch me, but it doesn't matter to you. But if you're more free to play or spend very little, I strongly suggest, after making this video, go all in on the elites before you even worry about some legendaries. With that being said, that's it guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to join my Discord, there's lots of good discussions there about this game, Dragon Champions, Galaxy of Heroes, Strike Force, Marvel in general, Star Wars in general. Lots of nerdy stuff to talk about. Come by the Discord, come hang out, have some good conversations with us. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.